We are the United States of America, a melting pot. Even this this podcast, we have all types of diversification, backgrounds, histories. Let's get into it. Conrad here.
Dylan.
Hilton.
George.
And Paul, a.k.a. Pablo.
Exactly. Welcome to the Puff Drink Talk podcast, and today we're talking all about diversity and the melting pot that is the United States and all of our experiences. So grab your cigar, grab a drink, and enjoy the conversation.
And if you feel like it, go to the main channel on Sunday and watch the cigar review, which is the cigar that we're smoking today.
What are we smoking here, fellas?
Hint, hint. It's good.
Have you ever heard of The Leaf by Oscar?
I have now.
Well, this isn't that, but this is the same company. Oscar.
Nothing to do with that.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the more well-known one, so I was just curious if you'd ever smoked that before. But this is it's a collaboration with an artist from Honduras and Oscar Valladares. And
Thank you for the
yep,
update, sir.
pretty medium strength. I challenge you to smoke it all, but all right. I got to go 2 weeks.
And Paul is lit up. I mean, his cigar is. No, so the United States obviously has been a melting pot of all types of different cultures, people from all over the world coming to the United States. It's been a, what some have called a beacon of light, beacon of freedom, and an amazing opportunity to start life anew. The land of the free, home of the brave. A lot of different nicknames for the United States. So let's talk about some of our experiences. I know we have two immigrants on this podcast who have immigrated from Brazil to the United States, and let's talk about kind of their experience and their thought process. So.
I identify as American.
I was gonna say, so do you prefer to be referred to as an immigrant or a migrant?
I was afraid of the back end of that answer.
Let's. You can never be too sure.
I'm a transplant to Austin.
I don't mind.
Many people are.
Yeah.
That can be called an alien. And I was like, okay, so we do have an alien sign on the wall.
You know what? And that's a very valid point. I mean, even for Americans in America, I guess I would be considered a transplant, a migrant.
I'm a transplant to Austin area.
And that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm not from the Austin area. So.
But I am Texan.
And
Yep.
and I'm not. That's for sure.
Yep.
Dylan, are you Texan?
I am.
So you and I are the only Texan-born guys in here.
So I like having you around so much. I'm the
Attaboy.
standalone Texan in this group until we get another real man around here,
Till we get
grabbing life by the horns.
Still get Pablo in the house.
That's right. So we always get emotional when you come in. Give it like 30 minutes, we're all going to be tearing up.
And it's funny you say that because of all the historical formation of the Texan demographics. You know, it all depends on where you're born, right? So if you say that 300 years ago, right, so you would be Spanish. You would be Spanish, and for a very little time, right, you would be Mexican.
I'd be Mexican, yeah.
French.
Well, part of the Louisiana stuff, you know. So
I would probably be more leaning towards like the Cajun French. I'm from Southeast Texas. So
yes,
it's right along that Louisiana Purchase area.
because we all have kind of an understanding how the map works, but it changed so many times in the past 300 years, you know?
The map works in the way of there's Texas, and then there's the rest of the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is what people in Rio Grande do Sul says, like for where we were born. Like we have the world just exists to support the Rio Grande do Sul, which is our state. So every country has one land, a piece of land, a corner that believe they are the center of the world.
And you're living right in the middle of it.
Well, and it's funny, Paul, because my wife is from the same state, same city as George. And I mean, it's very, I describe it as the Texas of Brazil because they're very into barbecue, into cattle drives. They have their own fashion. the bombasha.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah,
and
the
the
outfit.
outfit that they have. So it's very, very much of like, oh, this is my state. I'm very proud of it. They have their own national anthem, and they're very proud of the flag. And so,
Right.
There,
And they should be. I mean, it's a great culture down there.
yeah,
there's a lot of
It
people
is.
really proud to be from New York too. Though there's a lot of really like outspoken places around the country that
that
are
is true.
very proud.
That is true.
Well, I'm one that always, don't get me wrong. I'm born and bred Texan, proud to be a Texan, but I think you should be proud of, no matter who you are and where you came from, be proud of that.
That's
Yeah.
kind of where I was getting at. It's like there's nothing. I don't think there's anything wrong with just being proud of your hometown or wherever
I mean,
you're from.
not my fault you weren't born in Texas, but be proud of where you're from.
Unless it's California.
Well, there's that.
No, and I am proud of California, especially the parts that I lived in, and I got to experience a little bit of, north to south, because I know a lot of people that are like, I've only lived in the Bay Area, in San Francisco, Oakland. They were like, I have no desire to go anywhere else, and it's like, you don't understand the geographical difference of Northern and Southern California.
It's huge.
It's huge. It's very huge. And California, in my opinion, is the most beautiful state in the United States, just because you have such a diversity of ecosystems.
Nothing like, cliffs falling off and wildfires going everywhere.
Hey, you're a man if you just, dodge all of that.
I'd say like potentially Montana.
But I'm a huge fan of deserts. I love deserts. Palm Springs, Palm Valley, Death Valley is very beautiful. Yosemite is very beautiful. The coast out of San Francisco is very beautiful.
We've got deserts. We've got coasts right here in Texas.
Which
That
is
is
why
true.
the movie scene's coming, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we talked about that.
But
Oh, I missed the movie scene night?
yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I was in the movie. You don't know.
That's where you've been this whole time. Briggs and McConaughey coming soon.
No, Briggs and Tyler Sheridan coming soon.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Out on the 4.6s.
Well, there wasn't enough, so we just called it the 3.6s.
Mm-hmm. They're filming another season of Landman too, out there in Odessa.
They are. And speaking of 4.6s,
Midland.
have you had the bourbon yet?
I have not.
Yeah, oughta. It's good.
Pretty good. I'm
price-
always
For the price point, very good.
I'm just always skeptical of like celebrity, like name branded products.
It's made by the Buffalo Trace Distillery. It's very nice and smooth, and it's $28.99 a bottle.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll check it out.
So, what made you
Yeah, let's get back to these guys.
decide to come to the United States, George and Hilton?
George.
I lived in Chicago in 1998 and 1999. I saw Michael Jordan playing. I saw the fear. Well, I figured it out. I came from a very humble background, so I knew that I would have to speak languages. I thought that it would be an important tool for my future, so I figured that I either would go to England or to the United States. So I sold my car, right? So I worked in a restaurant for a year with a plan, So I was going to actually San Diego, La Jolla, and I had a friend living there, so I rented an apartment, and then at the last minute, my boss said, hey, I have a place for you in Chicago. Just go there. You don't want to go to California. So he already, back in 1998, he was totally against, people going there. So that's 27 years ago. So I picked, it was easier for me, school-wise, friends and everything. I played soccer at university back then. Of course, it couldn't be more stereotyped.
The Brazilian comes
playing
in.
soccer, yeah. Yeah. So, and the first impact is like, oh my God, it's very similar to everything, to things I do. But the more you spend time in a country, the more you see the differences. That's one thing I realized. So what motivated me for sure was learning the language and to see what would happen. Maybe a higher education in the United States at that time. That was my first motivation.
What about you, Hilton?
In 1997, I decided to not want to be in Brazil anymore because of politics. I hated the corruption. I hated everything about politics, and I still do. And I wanted to come to North Carolina, Charlotte, I think is the name of the town, to learn English. But my dad wouldn't have, enough money to do that. So, because I'm also Italian citizen, I went to UK instead. But to do that, I have to finish my university, start working, put some money together to do that on my own. Not that my dad wouldn't want to help me, just because it would be complicated for him to sponsor 3 children. So and then in 2004, I put a plan together to go to Australia. It did not work out because my brother was in there. My brother's sponsors on the visa, so I couldn't go until he would come back. So I went to UK instead because I could just go in to the country because I had the passport. And I lived in UK for 7 years. Went back to Brazil to start my own flooring business. And when I got the opportunity to come in here and run this business, I came. So it was a business decision. But leaving Brazil was a different, thing. It was like I don't like corruption and whatnot. And I did not care. I just wanted to live in a world where it was not a third world country, developing country. I wanted to be in the country where, people would have more opportunities and it would be easier to run businesses. And, that's why.
Oh,
That's what I
interesting.
did.
Well, and even for us too.
Although I did not play soccer.
Too much
And-
running.
And I did not run.
He didn't need it.
And I liked watching Formula One because I used to race, go-karts. So that's it.
Formula Ones go a little bit faster, sir.
Yes, but they don't use their legs.
So why did you migrate to Texas?
And thank you for asking that, Paul. I think I talked about this before, but when I finished the military, I had an opportunity to re-enlist for another 4 years, but I had met my wife, and of course she's from Brazil, and I just didn't think it was fair for her or myself that if I re-enlisted, I would have a high chance of either getting stationed in Camp Lejeune, which is out of North Carolina, or Okinawa, Japan. And of course, my wife barely spoke any English at that time, and here I'm going to take a brand new wife that barely speaks English and either move to the other side of the country where I'm not from and I don't know anybody, or to a completely different country in Japan. So I decided that, I'm going to get out. We got out and lived in San Diego. And it was a financial decision and safety decision, for my son. We just decided that it was, we were living in an apartment in, what's the name of it? I forget the name of the place that I was living in, but it was right across the street from SeaWorld. And touristy area, nothing too crazy, but I had to constantly, I would take my son out for a walk. He's just a little guy. He'd want to go outside. We'd have to step over homeless people. We'd have to step over drug addicts. We'd have to listen to them screaming.
Yeah, you gotta get out of that.
And I'm just like, I can't pay $3,000 a month for an apartment where I can't even open my screen door without hearing, homeless people shouting at themselves.
Right.
So I actually went to I was going to a community college, and I met another Marine who had gotten out, was going back to school, and he was like, "I'm moving back to Austin." He goes, "Austin just has so much job opportunities. I'm going to be able to graduate and then continue to use my Hazelwood Act benefits." And so I was like, "Okay, that's interesting." And I just sight unseen just moved out here.
Gotcha.
And I mean, our first apartment was right off of Grand Avenue here in Pflugerville. And I remember we walked in and we got a tour, and it was just, we had a nice pool, we had a gym, on
No
the
homeless people to walk over.
no homeless people. Well, now
At that time.
at that time, yeah, at that time.
But that's not the reason.
They haven't made it out to Pflugerville yet.
Not in that area recently.
But that's not the reason. The reason is he used to get a lot of visits from his father-in-law. All the time in his apartment. So that's why he wanted to move over here.
And I just didn't tell him we moved. So when he flew to San Diego, it was kind of a surprise.
Where the hell are y'all?
Texas?
The only thing, he was dead.
Oh,
Jesus, Hilton.
crap. Come on, man.
I went really morbid. I was playing into this. God damn. But no, so, and I mean, our first apartment, it had laundry inside, and it was $900. And my wife just started like crying. She was like, "It's $900, and look how beautiful everything is."
Right.
And it's like, we were paying $3,000 for like, all right, it's laundry day. Take all of our dirty laundry, take the kid, walk over to, the laundry mat, pay the quarters, pay the, $250, wait for the machines to be done, come bring it back. It was such an inconvenience. And then when we came out here, we're like, this is America. This is the United States of America.
Right.
There's California, and then there's the rest of the 49 states.
Then there's Texas.
And then there's Texas, and there's Florida.
And Canada.
Now, Dylan, are you from here?
I'm originally from Beaumont.
Oh, the armpit of Texas.
Yes, sir. Grew up
That's
with
what
the oil. That's
Yep.
what it's referred to as. Yeah.
That is the armpit of Texas. Those
Yep.
of you that do not know, that is the name of Beaumont.
It's coined.
I did not make that up. That is a true statement.
No, that is real.
We have
Where I grew
we have armpit cities. We have armpit and butthole cities of California.
I don't know if we got any buttholes, but
I don't know
Beaumont,
if we have
Texas
buttholes.
is the armpit of Texas.
Yeah, as you roll in, there's a lot of refineries there, so it just smells like sulfur and
And unwanted French Canadians that live in New Orleans that go there.
yeah. My grandpa worked for Texaco and the plants growing up, and then
Yeah,
That's
Beaumont's
awesome.
a refinery town. It's Exxon,
Yeah.
Mobil, all that stuff.
All of
He-
that.
he built a dairy farm, and that's where he raised my dad. And I grew up in a suburb, but we're adjacent, so I would go hang out on the farm a lot as a kid. And then I moved to Austin in 2005.
All right, so
Like
I guess
20
I've
years
been here.
ago.
So when did you come to Texas?
I was out here
2016.
2016. Yes.
I came here in 2001. I've been here the longest, I guess.
Yeah, 24 years. Isn't that
Well,
crazy?
In the area.
And my
Yeah.
before my parents married, my mom moved to Austin from California. So
And don't be alarmed. I didn't go far. I came from Cowtown.
Right.
So it's not like I, came from somewhere crazy. And I came here due to a job. Out of college, which was kind of weird. Graduated college, and I interviewed, got a job with this company.
Doing what?
Landscaping company, and I can't remember the name of the company right now. But the gentleman that interviewed me, they had an office in Dallas, and met me in college, and offered me the job. And he said, "Well, you can take one of two positions. There's one in Dallas, and there's one in Austin." And that was in 2000 when I was offered the job. And at that time, I had just lost my father. And I'm from the Fort Worth area, those of you that don't know where Cowtown's at. And so, for whatever reason, I just kind of said, you know what? My dad's gone. Let's do something new. And let's go to Austin. I had cousins that lived down here that went to UT for college. I've been down here a few times. So I knew Austin. I got some family down in Lockhart, south of town. And I said, let's go to Austin. So I took the job and came down to Austin for my job interview or my job lesson. Here's what we're going to be doing, and it ended up being Georgetown,
Oh, okay.
not Austin. So apparently, the gentleman in Dallas, Texas, with that company needs to learn what a map is, and could have told me because I guarantee you right now, anybody listening will tell you Georgetown ain't Austin, brother.
But I feel like Georgetown is just that's the last town in the compass umbrella of Austin. So if you were to say like I'm from the Austin area, but you really live in Georgetown, locals know like you're not in.
I understand, but
Right.
Everybody
I
says
promise
that.
you right now, I can go to Georgetown and start knocking on doors and go, okay, so y'all live in the Austin area, and they're going to go, no, we live in
No.
Georgetown.
But here's the difference: when you're traveling and people say where you from, you say, "Oh, I'm from
Right.
Texas. Whereabouts?" It's like everybody just says Austin.
Austin.
You don't want to explain. I'm from north of Austin, Leander,
say-
from Georgetown.
I say Bertram,
Bertram.
Texas, and if you don't know where that's at, Google it.
Well, a lot of if you're on vacation, people don't know where that's at.
No,
But,
they don't, but you know what? It gives them something to talk about in Google
Yeah.
while they're on their next flight.
It's just something people say, but yeah, it's definitely not Austin, Georgetown. Neither is.
No, I just thought it was kind of funny. I was like, man, I'm going to go live in the big town of Austin. Back then, thought it was kind of cool. And I come down here, and I'm like, damn it, I'm in Georgetown.
Although it is, if you're in the business and you go like, hey, I serve the
Greater
area,
Austin area.
or
Yeah.
Grace Austin area, yes, and then you'd say in that goes from like maybe Buda all the way to Georgetown.
I feel like that's the limits right there. That's the umbrella limits of Austin.
Yeah, we've talked about demographics with our business, and you're right. Buda to Georgetown is Austin, and San Marcos to whatever south of there is San Antonio.
To San
Yeah.
Antonio,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, San Marcos, New Braunfels, that you'd consider like,
Selma,
yeah.
and then you get into San Antonio.
Where are all our families originally from? Immigrated here. I mean, obviously the United States, a melting pot.
Yeah,
Do you know
I
the
mean,
family history?
I do quite a bit actually. My dad was from Alabama, Mr. Redneck. Mom was a Pennsylvania girl.
What about before that?
But
Hey, Paul, can you just move the microphone? Yes, that way.
Oh,
No, that way is better. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes, my dad's side grandparents were born, both of them, in Germany.
Yeah.
So we got German descent right there. And on my mother's side, her father was born in Ireland and mother born in Poland.
Interesting.
And so yeah, we've got some little bit of Polish and Irish, German, Texan, Mexican, Texan descent right here. You know, we're all just a little bit of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amen to that. What about you?
My mom's side of the family, I believe, like originally is from Ireland, I think, and then my dad's side's like UK, Scotland even, so it's Irish and Scottish, and then someone in my grandma's family is French, and so whenever their family came here, that's how they ended up kind of in the French Creole Cajun area of Louisiana that ended up in Beaumont. But he was born in Beaumont, he still lives there. And then more recently, my mom was born in California. They moved to Austin in like the 70s.
Oh, okay. What about you, gentlemen, for Brazil? Where are your families originally from?
I don't know much about it. My parents don't know much about it. My biological father was a son of a Lebanese who moved to a small town in Rio Grande do Sul. So there are like 12 people with my last name. I don't know, maybe a little bit more now. That's the only thing I know. My mom is a mix of Spanish, Portuguese, and probably yeah. That's what I know. I really don't know much about my parents. I never asked. You know, I consider the citizenship much more a global thing. You know, more like a globetrotter. So I really don't know the origins. The only thing I know is the Lebanese, Syria, Lebanese. You know.
Interesting.
Yeah, me, my grandmother was born in Brazil. On my father's side, but her parents are Germans. And from my mom's side, my grandfather, he went to Brazil at 6 years of age. So he was Italian, and he was born in Vicenza area, which is the town Zuliano. And yeah. So from there, I mean, if you go back into the Italian heritage, another 100 years is Armenia. Or, yeah, Armenian.
Interesting.
That is where it gets interesting, is like borders change in different countries that aren't countries anymore. Like when I have kids, I say we grew up next to the Gulf of America instead of the Gulf of Mexico. And that'll be something different, you know.
It is.
I mean, it's a small change, but
History is history.
Different.
It's gonna be down, you know, in history books. So
Yes,
My
it's renamed
maps
again.
are still Gulf of Mexico. Okay, my maps, of course.
no, I've changed mine. No.
I haven't.
I have good Mexican friends, but
I don't know that they care, to be honest with you.
Yeah, true.
As long as you cook them tacos and bring them beer, they'll be your friend, baby.
and those guys work hard, man.
Yeah, they
They
do.
work hard.
Yep.
I love all my Mexican, subs. They work really hard.
And referral partners, just the people that we know, they're all
Yeah.
genuinely, they're all great people. Their culture is like they're very family driven, and they are very hard workers.
It's interesting because my great grandparents immigrated from Germany, Ireland, UK.
Wow.
That whole area. Yeah, I know. Shocker. I mean,
Schubach.
Paul and Dylan and I over here are the exact same heritage.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to me as far as like the culture.
You
of
guys
it
could
is
be cousins.
probably. No, and it's funny because
You don't want to be my cousin.
What do you do with your cousins?
this is a family podcast. Come
That
on.
was
now.
cryptic, Paul.
No, this is not a family podcast. Just having fun podcast. Just come on.
No, I think it's interesting because the Latin culture is very family orientated, and I believe it's a little bit more loving and open and just really hardworking. And I know when I was talking to my grandpa before he passed and kind of getting a little history of like, what life was in Germany before they came over here, and like his dad, and he was like, my dad was an asshole, just straight asshole. He goes, Germans are just cold people. They're not welcoming. They're not open. They're very self-centered and rude
And heavy drinkers.
and heavy drinkers. So he was like, he's like, I have nothing positive to say about my dad or the people that he grew, that was around him when he was growing up. And it's very interesting how it's being around so many Brazilians, and obviously my wife is Brazilian, and then I'm surrounded by you guys, and how it's the exact opposite. It's like you guys call and say, hey, I'm on my way over, and it's like, all right, we're having a barbecue, we're smoking cigars, we're having drinks until 2 a.m., and then,
Well, that's what your wife does. She called me the other day and said that's what his wife did, Paul. She was like, hey, Hilton, what are you doing? Oh, not much. I'm just hanging out over here. And then she's like, okay,
Open the front door.
I'm bringing the family. We are doing a barbecue in your house. Like
5 minutes.
You gotta love that.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder though. You say the whole Latin family loving this and that, and excuse me, the Germans a little rough and no heart and whatever. My dad was German, but my dad was completely Latin kind of guy. You
Yeah.
know? So maybe his family lied to him. I don't know.
That was
Well-
the Alabama in them.
Oh, that's what it was.
maybe,
Yeah.
and that's, and I mean,
it's that southern charm.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure it was, because honestly, it's like, they're from Dusseldorf,
Dusseldorf.
and
That's a doozy.
and Google it. I swear now, Google, Dusseldorf and talk about like
How the fuck do you spell that?
Yeah.
I was about to say, good luck spell on that one.
We're gonna put that on the screen right now.
I need autocorrect to come in here for me. There we go.
Dusseldorf.
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 You know what? While
Sprachen
y'all are
Deutsch.
looking that up, I'll tell you a little quick story. It was,
Oh, it's pretty.
That's a pretty town.
It is very beautiful.
Yeah, back in 2000 when my dad passed away, we had a what do you call it?
Put on the map there.
family gathering or whatever after the funeral at the house, right?
It's north.
And we had a good 50, 60 people over at the house, at Mom's house. And we had food and drinks and whatever. And when we got there, I got 2 older brothers. And my middle brother and I, we determined about 5 minutes into the party that we did not have the proper or enough drinks. And so we made an announcement right in the middle of the living room of these 50, 60 people. Hey, we're going to the liquor store. Who wants what? We're going to the store. And one of the ladies there at the house kind of said, hey, this is a funeral party. Why are y'all going to the liquor store? And my first answer was, we're German Irish Catholic. We drink because we're awake, baby. Let's go. And they all just started kind of laughing, and nobody gave us answers. So my brother and I go to the liquor store, and back in Fort Worth, it was a big warehouse. It wasn't like a Total Wine and More now. It was like triple the size of a Total Wine. It's a big warehouse. We walked in that store. I grabbed a cart. My brother grabbed a cart. He went left. I went right, and we said hit every aisle and we'll get at least one bottle off of each side of each aisle. And we came back to the register, and the little girl at the register looked at us and said, do y'all have a drinking problem? And my brother looks at her and goes, nope, we're just German Irish Catholics. We filled those carts up with so much, and then we got done with all the alcohol in the carts and went, oh yeah, by the way, we need 3 kegs of beer, please.
All right. But that's true, actually.
My point of that is Germans and Irish, they do know how to party.
They bond over alcohol, that's for sure.
Damn sure.
Yeah.
And you said it was a funeral party?
It was my dad's funeral party.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. On a funeral, normally you do serve, alcohol and liquor,
well,
specifically.
my mom had said she had alcohol at the house. We got there. There was 1 bottle of Jack and 1 bottle of some crap, and it was like, okay, that's not enough.
Not enough, yeah.
We got to go to the store. Dad would have been proud, I promise you.
I'm sure. Yeah. But that's the way, the Catholics do also. It's like you got to drink.
Well, I'll put it out there right now, and I've told my wife this, and if any of y'all are alive when this jackass dies, I want y'all to do 2 things. Number 1, have a drink at my funeral. But before you take a drink, pour me a drink, every one of you, and pour it over my casket.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
That's all I want. Just pour it over my casket. Get the cheapest crap. Don't waste good stuff.
No, we're going to get you good stuff.
No, that's all I know you is drinking quality bourbon. So we're going to pour some quality bourbon on your casket.
Well, I appreciate
That's
that,
assuming that I make it that long. That's a big assumption.
Yeah.
The rate I'm drinking, I might not.
I know, you're the youngest one in here.
Well,
but,
that doesn't mean anything.
Paul and I and George were similar age,
Well, mine's not an age thing. Mine's until I piss the wife off and then she just shoots my ass.
Oh.
I see.
She did research. I live on some land, and I came home one day out of the blue. If you dig a hole no bigger than 3 feet in circumference, if they scan it from the sky, they can't really see what it is. And I'm like, all right, well, why are you investigating that? And she looks at me and she goes, well, I can dig a 6 or 8 foot hole in a 3 foot circle. Oh, shit.
Honey, I'll do dishes. I'm cooking tonight.
In other words, she can bury me and you never know where I went.
Yeah.
All she's got to do is say, I planted a tree and it died.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, where's Paul?
And honey, if you're watching, good luck digging that deep in rock.
Yeah.
No, you're in the right part of the...
We know a guy.
of the land. Yeah, she's going to have to hire you to do that.
Yeah, well.
Keep digging deeper.
Very good point, Hilton.
George, you were going to say something?
No. I was just picking up a list here of the heaviest drinkers in the world. None of the countries you mentioned are on the top 3, top 4. Okay, Germany is top 5.
Well, then who's 1, 2, 3, and 4?
Number 1, Romania. Number
Check.
2, Georgia. Number 3, Czech Republic. And number 4, Latvia.
Well, I'm going to say that you just named the countries with the ugliest women, and they got to drink more to make them look good.
Czech women are very, very
Man,
good.
I don't know about that.
No. Czech Republic.
East Europe is one of the tops
That's where
in
it's
the
at.
world. So probably
You-
that's
you-
why they drink.
You
That's
got
why
it.
they drink, you know.
You
Build the
got-
courage to talk to them.
Oh yeah.
Does it save the men drink or the women? Because probably
Men.
the women drink, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
just because the men are ugly, but they are awesome. You know what I mean? So the women drink.
Men in Romania are by and large the heaviest drinkers on the planet. The average Romanian male drinks 27.7 liters, roughly 7.5 gallons per year.
Alcohol or beer?
Alcohol in general. These people are crazy. Yeah, East Europe.
$1 the biggest beer drinkers in Germany.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
There's a guy who got his name pulled out of the bucket on Kill Tony. He's from the UK, and he's like, everybody always, I'm going to butcher it. I don't remember exactly how it went, but like everybody always asks me why I moved here. And he's like, not the best looking guy, you know? And he's like, all the women in UK look just like me.
It's a good joke. It's a good joke. Yeah.
And what kind of stereotypes do you guys have of different people in the world?
I don't know if we should go there, George. Come on.
No?
now.
Well, since we're talking about that.
Fifth.
Yeah.
Well, it is a melting pot, so
I know.
All right. Okay.
Texans wear boots and hats. I can talk all day about Texas stereotypes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to stereotype us. You know, I mean, as I told you a while ago, my mother's from Pennsylvania. I've been in the Northeast quite a bit for family reunions and different things. I couldn't tell you how many times I got off that airplane and first question I had was, where's your hat? Where's your horse? I mean,
Yep.
just,
Right.
Yep.
you know, as soon as they hear me talk, because there's no doubt I'm from Texas. My voice
What kind of questions do you think they ask Brazilians? Do you,
Where's your soccer ball and where's the beach?
Yeah, where's your ball? Where's your beach?
Yeah.
Or-
Exactly.
do you live in trees?
Yeah.
I never heard that.
do you have a monkey as a pet?
Do you always wear a Speedo
yeah.
when you swim?
Yeah.
Why you white, not black?
Yeah.
Trust me, when I first met my wife and I was like, what the fuck? You're from Brazil? There's no way.
Yeah, I'll admit, I assumed all Brazilian people kind of looked like the Ronaldos, like Ronaldinho, like soccer players, like just dark skin, and I didn't know.
Which is 47% is a mix.
All different cultures, man.
Yeah, it's a mix. 2, 3, 4 different mixes, you know. White represent what? 30%, 35%.
Japanese.
I mean, that's funny you
Japanese,
say
2
that.
million 2 million Japanese only in Sao Paulo.
Sao Paulo has the highest population of Japanese people outside of Japan.
Mhm.
I mean, I played golf last
good
week with
sushi.
my business partner and another guy, and then our engineer that does our designs. And I've never met Ricardo, is his name. Never met him. Emailed, chatted with him, talked to him on the phone, but never met him in person. And get to the golf course, and I meet Ricardo, the whitest dude I've ever met.
Right.
I mean, just white as white can
Mhm.
get. But he's full Spanish, and you know he's Spaniard. And I got to talking to him. I'm kind of like, you know, and we started giving each other a hard time. I'm a little dark complex or whatever. I'm darker than he is, and I just, what's up with your name, Ricardo? Are you Spanish? Are you hiding something? What's going on? He's like, no, I was born in Mexico. My family's Mexico, but my mom was from Georgia, and my daddy was from somewhere in Spain, but they ended up in Mexico, and that's where he was born.
Right.
And lived there for 20-something years of his life. So he was born Mexican, but he's just, you know, I mean, he's as pale skin as can be.
I mean, look at the president of Mexico.
That's what
She's-
I was about to say that. I was about to ask you to point
she's,
that.
she's
very-
Jewish, German American. You know,
I think
German.
both names are German, if I'm not mistaken.
Scheinbaum, yeah, Jewish German.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But yeah,
to their own.
well, and that's it. Is I feel like we always say the United States is a melting pot, but I looked up family. I have Shubak relatives that are distant cousins from Germany that live in Brazil. There's actually a Camila Shubak that lives in Brazil. So it's there's quite a few, and of course Argentina. There's a lot of Shubaks that are in Brazil, Argentina, South America. So.
She's got a little tan, I've definitely seen whiter people. Give her a little bit of grace, but yeah, she doesn't look like your traditional.
Yeah, true.
But what is a traditional Mexican? It's like,
man, it also think about how different life is, or populated demographics are different, right?
He was gonna make a joke for sure.
I know.
No, go ahead.
He had to
We are
stop
here for the
himself. He literally went on second thought on his own account.
Come on, Pablito, what's on your mind?
He's like, I don't know if I should.
So you're calling me out for stereotypes. I want to hear that.
Yeah. That's for sure why he stopped himself.
Yeah.
I know it is. Oh, man.
But no, you brought up stereotypes, but I think it's always the funniest type of stereotypes that everyone always talks about, and I think we can joke about it.
Can
We
you make a tamale?
And that's
Jesus Christ. You said it.
She's got people to do that for her, man. She's the president.
yeah. But I think it's interesting how
But
we
no,
have
she
those stereotypes, and it's true. It's like from state to state. I know the same thing for gauchos when they go to other parts of Brazil. They go, "Hey, gringo, come here," or gringa for my wife, and she's like, "No, I'm from Rio Grande do Sul." So it happens, state to state.
Well, it's
People-
happening right here, man. You get the stereotype of a cowboy in Texas, all right? He wears boots and jeans. Bullshit. It's just the boots don't make the cowboy.
No,
Right.
I
Right.
get called a gringo all the time by just people in this that are subcontractors, and I sometimes think it's just a term of endearment. That's the way you got to take it. It's not like derogatory.
You think you get called gringo? But look at me.
That's right.
Especially
We're
when
not that different, Paul.
Paul doesn't even use Paul. He goes, "Oh, I'm Pablito."
I'm Pablo.
Pablo.
Man,
Paul.
You open the door to being called a gringo
No.
as soon as you meet. Hi, I'm Pablo.
Hell, my business card says Pablo.
I know.
My wife says that Dylan here is very Texan.
And then your brother-in-law came into town, said the same thing. Like, I don't know what energy I give off that everybody thinks I'm just so Texan. I think I'm just a normal Texan. Some people are way more Texan sounding than I am.
I think it was when you were like taking your gun, kind of waving around, shooting at street signs. We're like, yeah, that's Texas.
Wearing a
behavior.
cowboy hat with some boots. There's Texas.
Yeah, okay. There's
Kicked him
Dylan.
in the ass with my spurs.
Yeah.
George, do you want to finish that statement that you're saying? Or-
Yeah, no. I was just saying, like, the denomen of Rio Grande do Sul is gaúcho. Gaucho, right? Which is actually basically mercenaries in 200 years ago. So it's a very derogatory. So we call ourselves now all gauchos. 12 million people, but actually gauchos were like not, I don't know how many they were, but they were free. They could do whatever they wanted, and they were violent. They would rape. They would do whatever they wanted in the land, but we still, after 200 years,
Like the Mongolians.
They were
Sort of.
separatists.
yeah, we were a republic for about 10 years.
That's what I'm saying. They're Texan.
They are
They're
like
the
Texas.
they're the Texans of Brazil.
Still now, people talk about that.
Do y'all have an Alamo?
Yeah. Guerra dos Farrapos.
Yeah.
He took it serious, and Paul's like,
Yeah,
this mother.
we do have it.
Yeah.
We lost it. We lost it. It was a deal.
Yeah, we did too.
Yeah.
We almost didn't, but we did.
Yeah.
Shout out Davy Crockett.
Remember
And Charlie
the Alamo.
Crockett.
And Charlie Crockett.
Check out his music.
But man, that's one of my favorite things. It's like, man, the boots don't make the cowboy, brother.
That's a true statement.
It's a very true statement because I can tell you right now, I'm dressed right now in shorts and flip flops, and there's a lot of people out there. I can go ride a horse right around them in circles.
Yep.
And,
Let's face it.
Come on, Paul. You go to the bar on your horse to drink.
Well, I used to, not anymore. But
I don't wear shoes when I go to bars.
well, you kind of have to. It's a law.
It's not.
Oh, it
Some
is.
place. It depends on which which establishment you are into.
Well, trust me, the bars I go to, you
Yeah.
want to wear shoes.
Oh, come on.
Oh, those floors are nasty.
Yeah, nasty. Not as nasty as my feet.
You
Oh,
go
we gotta take a picture of that and post it online.
in,
That's
walk
for-
in barefoot to clean your feet.
That's our paid subscription. So
Yeah, OnlyFans.
yeah,
We're
on
gonna
our
get a
only
Patreon here
Yes.
soon.
pictures of just George's feet.
Pigs.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I would have followers.
I'm sure.
On that note, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching the Puff Drink Talk podcast. We also have another video where we review this fine cigar that we've been smoking on this episode. So please go and watch that. Paul, thank you very much for joining us for the conversation.
Gracias, mi amigos.
Janada. And we will see everyone next week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Adios, amigos. Buenas noches.
Hasta luego.